Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're doing a Let's Play and early impressions for Escape Simulator VR. Yes, Escape Simulator finally got VR support today, April 2nd, 2024. It is completely free. Yes, you heard that right. Escape Simulator got free VR support. Now, I already own the game, so I didn't have to pay anything. Obviously, if you don't own the game, then you do have to buy it. It normally retails for $14.99. It's currently on a 30% off sale, so it's like a little over $10. And I think it's a great deal for all that you're getting. I believe Escape Simulator originally released back in 2021, and the developers promised VR support a few years ago, but it's finally here today. And the good news is that it's completely free. So this is free VR support. Thank you to the devs for providing VR support. I think we as the VR community, especially in PC VR, should give nothing but love to the developers for bringing free official VR support to their game. A lot of developers today charge money, charge extra, but these developers, gave it free to the community just to show their appreciation. So I'm very happy to support these developers, and I highly recommend this. Like I said, I did buy the game, so I bought Escape Simulator a little over about 2 years ago when I first heard about the VR support was coming, and it's finally here. You can customize your avatar. In case it isn't obvious, this is an escape room game, a puzzle game. And there is online multiplayer, so you can play with your friends and try to solve these puzzles, but there's also single player. You don't need to play multiplayer if you don't want. And what I really love about this game is that on top of the DLC, which you can buy, they included 2 DLCs that are free: the Portal DLC and the Among Us DLC, but also the community. There's community escape rooms, and here's the verified for VR, and this is all completely free from the community. So there's a free workshop where if you want, you can make your own escape rooms using this game. I think that's awesome. I mean, these developers are amazing. And all this just for $14.99, which, is a hard deal to beat given everything that you're getting here. Let's look at the options real quick. So you do have teleportation or smooth locomotion. You can change the movement speed along with a comfort vignette. You can use snap turn. I put it to 45 degrees. I struggle. Should I put 45 or should I put 90? I can never tell which one I prefer. But I'm going to stick with 45 because there's not really a whole lot of turning here. And you can play seated. There's also comfort options, the vignettes, graphics. There's a couple of graphic options. It runs fine on my RTX 3080. I've been getting mostly 72 frames per second. Really no issue. I did lower the sound volume, and there's some old advanced. I don't know that I'll use any of these. So let's go ahead and play. By the way, you can customize your avatar. So, but let me show you some quick little outfit changes just so you can see. But I'm going to stick with the one that I have because I like that one. Let's go ahead and let's just play. And I've done the tutorial, but I've also done some of the original. So this is the original stuff. As you can see, the game by itself has quite a bit of content. So just the free stuff, there's a lot here. And I got to say that the puzzles are challenging. I found the tutorial actually to be challenging, believe it or not. I was stumped on the tutorial for a few minutes. For about a few minutes. So yeah, I'm not the best puzzle. Just so you guys know, I consider myself intermediate puzzle, not really beginner, but not really expert or advanced, more intermediate, a little bit more than beginner. So let's just go ahead and play. And just so you guys know, I've already beaten this room, and it was very challenging. I was stumped. I was gonna do like this whole thing without doing any spoilers, but I think that's just too difficult, so I'm just going to say spoiler alert. And like I said, I've already beaten this room, so I'm going to try to zip by it as fast as possible. I don't want to make a super long video, so keep in mind I already solved this, but I'm also not the smartest person in the world. By the way, like I said, you have full locomotion, snap turning, You can play seated, comfortably seated. And the thing about this game is you have to be very observant. So observe your surroundings. You can see there's like a little hand, and what does that do? This is the hint system. You can click on it to get a hint, and then you can just be observant, and you can see that there's a little eye. So there's a little inventory system. As you can see, we just put that in our inventory system, and when it's yellow, you know that you do need to use it. So here's our little Egyptology book. Now this is obviously going to be very important, so we're going to put it in our inventory. Oh, look here already. This is pretty easy here. You can already tell that we need to put this here. So yeah, again, spoiler alert, I am going to solve this puzzle and relatively quick. Now you might think this is something that you need, but you put it in your inventory and you see that it's not lighted up. You can just put it in the trash can. There's also let's just get this briefcase. So these interactions are obviously point and click interactions. So not the most immersive. Obviously, we like to grab it and open it in VR. Those type of interactions. But since this is completely free VR support, I'm not going to complain. And I'm just going to put everything in my inventory. And I believe that's everything. And again, it says that it's still useful. Is it? Well, okay. We'll see. Obviously, you can break items, see if they're useful or not. There's a lot of. Oh, look! There's an item there. We found a token. All right. Again, a lot of pointing, highlight, and interact. So you can see that we're grabbing the board. I don't think the boards are important. So now one thing you notice is that that's kind of dusty, right? So I think this is kind of obvious that we need to dust it off. And we see a bunch of hieroglyphics, right? So obviously we have a book. I'm going to turn our Egyptology book. And this is pretty complicated. It took me a while to figure this stuff out. But basically, what I got from it is that the Pac-Man, the person looking one is 1,000. So that's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So we know it's 3,000, right? And then the little circly waves are 100. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3,400. And then the little U's are like 10. So 20 and then 6. So 3,426. So let's go ahead and try that. 3,400 and 26. And then we got the key. So that again, I've already solved the puzzle. That's why it didn't take me very long. Otherwise, it would have taken me forever. So now we got to figure out where to use the key. It should be obvious, right? There we go. We get lots of keys. Put this all in our inventory. Again, point and click interactions. We might use the coins later on in later stage of the puzzle. But the one cool thing that we got is this little thing, and I don't know, does it go here? No, I don't think so. I think it goes into the... So for right now, we're just going to put it away. And the one thing you want to do is be very observant. And I don't know if you noticed that, but we actually broke it by accident. But we have another piece here. All right, and now we can use this one and know that we put it there. So now we just got to find one. Now, one clue is this, the Sphinx. And I don't know if you noticed the eye. But let's open our book. So there was an eye hieroglyph on that thing, right? I don't know if you guys remember that, but I do because I did the puzzle before, so that's why I know. And which book was it though? Is it this one? Yeah. So you notice the eye, and then this little symbol, darkness. So it says eye, darkness. Now this is the one part of the puzzle that I gotta be honest, really stumped me, and I had to get a hint to solve. But basically, eye darkness, it's dark, and you put it here. Yeah, that really stumped me. Now this one was easier because obviously, now that we knew that, we can look at the symbol and see that the symbol says that the hieroglyphic says water. Okay, so we put it in water, and then we get the final puzzle piece. Right? So pretty simple. I say pretty simple, but this all stumped me pretty good. And then we get these, and we start these puzzles. Again, spoiler alert. And again, I was stumped here. I did not know what to do. But basically, what you do here is you match the hieroglyphics to get from this point to this point. So in order to do that, I believe it's lion. So lion, if I remember correctly. And then from lion, we go to this, whatever it is. It looks like a little tent, maybe. And then we go to the little square. And then we go to the, whatever that is, like a little tall statue or something. I don't know what it is. This. But we solved it. Mostly by memory. Because my small lizard brain just can't figure this stuff out. Now this one, I was again stumped on this one. I didn't know what to do. But basically what I figured out is that the only one that goes to the center is this little wasp. So if you look at this, like so, you see that it's the wasp which lets you get out. So again, wasp, look at our book. No, that's not the one. It's the other book. I keep confusing these two books. Oh no, I keep confusing these books. God darn, gosh darn it. Okay, there we go. The wasp is BJT. So we go B, which is the foot. J, which is the snake. And then T, which is, I don't know, what, like a semicircle. There we go, last puzzle. There we go. That was actually fun to solve. It was very challenging. Like I said, I actually had to use several hints because of my smooth lizard brain. I got stumped. But if you're just very observant, I hope you can see that all the puzzles were there, easy for you to solve. But you need to be a little bit smarter than Fast Lawyer. At his age, he's just getting dumber and dumber, unfortunately. Law school does that to you. Before I started law school, I thought I was pretty smart, but after law school, definitely my IQ dropped. I don't recommend it if you want to get smarter to go to law school. It'll unfortunately, law school will make you lose a few IQ points. Anyways, this has been my Let's Play Early Impressions. What do I think? For being free, this is awesome. Like, I really can't complain. I don't see how anyone can complain about free VR support for a game that came out with non-VR. And, a lot of developers will charge money for this. These developers, there's a lot of development time to bring VR support. And, they could have charged money and people would have bought it. But instead, they just released it free VR support. So, I'm not going to complain. I'm very thankful to these devs for their work in bringing this to VR. I'm very happy. I bought this game just when I initially heard that VR was coming, that they were planning to do VR support. It took some time. Like I said, it took about 2 years. But the day is finally here, and I'm very happy with having supported these devs. So thank you very much to these devs. I'm glad to buy this game. I'm glad to support it. And like I said, I think you're getting good value here because the puzzles are challenging. There's different themes. Like I said, there's a Portal one. In fact, let's check out the Portal one because I'm actually kind of curious to what it looks like. So just to see, I'm not gonna try to solve it or anything like that because I definitely don't want to spoil anymore. But I wanna see what it looks like. There's also Among Us if you're an Among Us fan. But I want to see what the Portal escape room looks like. This is free DLC, the Portal and the Among Us. Along with the free VR support. And yeah, it looks like kind of what I thought it would look like. This is awesome. I'm already stumped. So I don't know if this one is time. Oh no, it is timed. You got 90 minutes. Oh no, this must be complicated. Okay, so yeah, I'm not even gonna try to solve this because my smooth lizard brain is already lost. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. but it does look good, and I'm very happy that these developers brought free VR support. So, like I said, early impressions, the VR interactions are, not the best, but they work. I always say this about VR: you don't have to have the best VR interactions as long as they don't make the game frustrating to play. So, what I like about this game is that although the VR interactions aren't as immersive as I would like, they don't get in the way of the game. So the game is smooth and polished. There are no issues at all with the VR. I do hope to add smooth rotation, smooth turning. That would be the biggest thing for me right now. But if I have to rate it based on what I've experienced so far, and admittedly, like I said, this is not a review. This is just early impressions. But I would give this VR, free VR support, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. And that's a very high score for me. You guys know that I'm a tough grader. Recently, I've been giving like everything a 5 out of 10. Just because everything that's been released recently, well, not everything, but a lot of stuff that's been released in VR recently is very mid, very average. Been there, done that. A lot of my scores are from 4 to 5 to 6. A lot of my review scores are 4, 5, or 6. But I'm going to give this an 8, which is very high. I rarely give a score this high. But keep in mind, this is completely free. So free VR support. And that's what I'm reviewing, the VR, not the Escape Simulator. Because like I said, admittedly, I haven't played a whole lot. Maybe I played an hour so far, maybe. But everything I've seen, the puzzles are fun and challenging to solve. I like that it has online multiplayer. The rooms have different themes and they all look very good. The game seems pretty smooth and polished. It runs. It's been running perfectly fine for me on my RTX 3080. Plus, again, like I said, you can't beat the price. It's completely free. So if you love PC VR, if you love puzzle games, I would say this is one of the better ones just because it has content. The content is, even though the VR, this is, if you're going to compare this to like the Room VR, you're probably going to be disappointed. If you're going to compare this to Red Matter, you're probably going to be disappointed. But as far as just pure puzzle escape room, I don't think you'll find something better than this, given the quality of the escape rooms and the quality of the puzzle, the challenge in the puzzles. This is as good as it gets for puzzle rooms, escape rooms in VR. Although, like I said, the VR interactions aren't the best. And that's why I'm only giving it an 8 versus giving it a higher score, given that, again, it is free. It's hard to beat the free price. So I highly recommend this. Thank you again to the devs. I bought this game to support them. I hope you do too. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.